So, how might a Jungian analyst help people manage to deal with the Ukraine-Russia conflict? So, a Jungian analyst approaching the Russia-Ukraine conflict and war would likely focus on the deeper symbolic and archetypal dimensions of the conflict, both within individuals and the collective psyche. Jung's analytical psychology emphasizes the interplay between conscious and unconscious forces, the significance of myths and symbols, and the process of individuation. Here's how a Jungian analyst might attempt to help people deal with the Russia-Ukraine war. Acknowledging the collective unconscious and archetypal dynamics. The shadow of nations. Jung believed that individuals and groups possess a shadow comprising of unacknowledged, repressed, and often negative aspects of the psyche. For nations, this could involve historical grievances, unaddressed traumas, or suppressed destructive impulses. The analyst might suggest that the conflict represents a massive projection of collective shadows onto the other, where each side demonizes the opponent to avoid confronting its own unintegrated darkness. The analyst would highlight how easy it is for nations to project their own aggressive and fearful impulses onto the enemy, making it difficult to see shared humanity or find common ground. Archetypes in play. The war would be seen as constellating powerful archetypes within the collective unconscious. The warrior-hero archetype. This archetype, while often associated with courage and defense, can also manifest as destructive aggression and blind loyalty. The analyst would help explore how this archetype is being activated and potentially distorted on both sides, leading to valorization, violence, and sacrifice. The victim archetype. The experience of suffering and victimhood is central in war. The analyst would acknowledge the profound impact of this archetype on individuals and groups, recognizing the potential for both genuine suffering and the manipulation of this archetype for political ends. The destroyer-trickster archetype. The disruptive, chaotic, and often amoral energy of the destroyer or trickster archetype might be seen in the unforeseen consequences of the war, the disorienting propaganda, and the breakdown of established order. The great mother, nourisher, or devouring mother. The land itself, the concept of the homeland, can evoke the great mother archetype. Its protection is a primal drive, but when threatened, the archetype can turn into a devouring mother, demanding sacrifices and perpetuating endless conflict. Cultural complexes. Jung's concept of cultural complexes refers to the emotionally charged patterns of thought and behavior within a specific culture, often stemming from historical events or myths. The analyst might explore how deeply ingrained complexes within Russian or Ukrainian national identities, for example, historical rivalries, perceived historical injustices, national myths of victimhood or grandeur, contribute to the conflict's intensity and the resistance to resolution. Facilitating individuation or an individual and collective level. Confronting the shadow individually and collectively. For individuals affected, the analyst would help them integrate their personal shadow aspects that might be exacerbated by the war, rage, despair, desire for revenge. On a collective level, the analyst would argue for the necessity of each nation and humanity as a whole to confront its own shadow rather than perpetually projecting it onto the enemy. This means acknowledging their own capacity for aggression, dehumanization, and historical responsibility. Finding meaning in suffering. Jungian psychology emphasizes the transformative potential of suffering. While not minimizing the horrors of war, an analyst might guide individuals to find meaning in their experiences, potentially leading to personal growth, resilience, and a deeper understanding of the human condition. Symbolic expression and integration. Dreams, myth, art, and rituals provide symbolic language for the unconscious. The analyst would encourage individuals to explore their dreams and create creative expressions related to the war, seeking insights into their personal and collective unconscious. For example, recurring war-related imagery in dreams can be analyzed to understand the deeper psychological processes at play. At a collective level, symbolic acts of reconciliation, memorialization, or creative expression could be seen as crucial for integrating the trauma. Dialogue with the opposites. Jung believed that psychological health involves hiding the tension of opposites rather than seeking simplistic resolutions. In the context of war, this means acknowledging the validity of different perspectives, even those that seem irreconcilable. For individuals, this might involve grappling with their own mixed feelings about the conflict. For the collective, it would involve a difficult and lengthy process of genuine dialogue, even with the enemy, to recognize shared humanity and move beyond the rigid us versus them narratives. The self as a guiding principle. The self in Jungian psychology represents the totality of the psyche, the organizing center that strives for wholeness and integration. The The analyst would encourage individuals to connect with their inner self as a source of wisdom and resilience. On a collective level, this would involve nations moving toward a more integrated and mature sense of identity, guided by universal human values rather than by narrow nationalistic impulses. How a Jungian analyst would help. Similar to a Freudian analyst, a Jungian analyst wouldn't offer direct political solutions. Their work would be at the psychological level, aiming for a deep transformative shift. Therapeutic container, providing a safe and contained space for individuals to process the overwhelming emotions and experiences of war using techniques like dream analysis, active imagination, and sand play to access unconscious material. Meaning making, helping individuals and communities articulate and understand the symbolic meaning of their experiences, moving beyond a purely factual or emotional reaction to a deeper psychological understanding. Promoting consciousness by bringing unconscious archetype dynamics and shadow projections to consciousness. The analyst aims to increase awareness, which is the first step toward more conscious and responsible action. And facilitating reconciliation long-term. While not direct mediators, Jungian insights could inform long-term peace-building efforts by highlighting the need for collective shadow work, genuine dialogue, and the development of more inclusive national identities that acknowledge interdependence rather than separation. Ultimately, a Jungian analyst would emphasize the lasting peace requires not just political negotiation, but a profound psychological transformation at both the individual and collective levels, acknowledging and integrating the often uncomfortable truths held within the human psyche. So what are your thoughts about how a Jungian analyst might help people process the Russia-Ukraine war? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll speak to you next time.